Should cruise lines just wait longer to try to restart cruising? I mean, can we be serious for a moment? Our shining hero in the tale of cruise restarting is MSC Cruise Lines, and now they're going to delay. They're going to cancel. They're not going to restart when they said they were going to restart, even after the success of the Grandiosa. Should all cruise lines just wait to restart? We're going to talk about it in today's episode of the Lido Loca Cruise Show. Plus, I've got your latest cruise news updates. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Tony. If you enjoy that cruise and travel content, please consider subscribing with the notification bell on. That way you don't miss out on any of these shows. MSC's bumming me out, but I understand. I still love them, and I want to talk about it. But first, let me give you some updates on some other cruise news. We've been tracking along about the vote that's coming up on Election Day. No, not that vote. The vote in Key West, Florida, about whether they will allow cruise ships to return once cruising returns. It's been a challenging tale. First, there was a process where enough people signed a petition to get a referendum put on the ballot that would nix the access of larger cruise lines to the port of Key West. That was met with a suit by some harbor pilots, the Harbor Pilot Association, that said this isn't fair. They sued to get the referendum off the ballot. Just last week, a judge said, so sorry, referendum stays. And now we got a new set of people trying to get an injunction put in place to keep that vote from happening on Election Day. Now, this group of people there, the pier owner, the private pier owner there in Key West, and they're saying that their rights are being infringed upon as a private company by not allowing cruise ships to come in. The government shouldn't impose whether or not they can do business with their pier, and that's the suit. That's what the request for the injunction is all about, whether or not this referendum violates their ability as a private entity to do business there in Key West. We will wait with bated breath to see what happens. Will there be an injunction to keep this vote from happening, or will the people of Key West have a say as to whether or not cruise ships can come there in the future? The future. In cruise ship shell game news, that's what I like to call these ships going from one place to another. Fred Olsen Cruise Lines are getting rid of a couple old cruise ships, and they're replacing them with a couple old cruise ships. That's the way it works with Fred Olsen. Fred Olsen is a Norwegian/UK cruise line. They do cruises around the UK. Well, they're getting rid of a couple oldies but goodies. Classic cruise ships built in the 1970s. The Fred Olsen Boudicca, I don't know. This was a cruise ship put in service in 1972, can handle around 900 passengers. And they're also getting rid of the Fred Olsen Blackwatch, another cruise ship put into service in 1972 that can hold about 800 passengers. And they're getting a couple new cruise ships. Well, at least it's new to them. Getting the old Holland America ships, the old Holland America Amsterdam and the old Holland America Rotterdam. The Holland America Amsterdam was launched in the year 2000, and it has a capacity of 1,380 passengers. And then the Rotterdam's a little older, launched in 1996 with a passenger capacity of 1,400 passengers. So the old ships could hold about 1,700 passengers. The new ships can hold about 2,700 passengers. So this is definitely an upgrade for Fred Olsen. Of course, they're going to give them some new names. The Amsterdam will now be Fred Olsen's Bolette, and the Rotterdam will be the Fred Olsen Borealis. Old ships made new with a new name and more capacity for Fred Olsen, so once cruising resumes, they should be able to make more money with these two ships compared to the ones they're taking out of the fleet. Plus, these are newer ships, so maybe less maintenance cost. It's a win-win. Does kind of make sense. There's like a trickle-down thing going on from the big cruise lines down to the smaller cruise lines to the scrapyard. Goodbye to the old Fred Olsen ships, old ships, and welcome to the new old ships. Good on you. Fred Olsen, basically a UK cruise line. Let's talk about another UK cruise line that is now extending their shutdown. Yes, we're talking about Marella. Marella, owned by the TUI Group. They've decided that they will not restart cruising until at least November the 15th, citing what's going on with the world. Of course, the government there in the UK has plainly said nobody should be getting on a cruise ship. That's a big hindrance to cruising restarting there in the UK. and Marella reading the writing on the wall and pushing it out until November the 15th. That really does beg the question that we started this show out with. Should cruise lines just wait longer to restart? Now, again, our beacon of hope has been the MSC Grandiosa. They took off. They went on a cruise last week. They successfully cruised last week. They did rapid testing at embarkation. They had a variety of health protocols in place, and now that cruise is completed with no issues, and it's getting ready to happen again. Now, that MSC cruise there going to the Italian ports only open to passengers from the Sejan area of Europe, which is really the majority of Europe, a lot of EU countries, some non-EU countries. And so they're going to keep going. They're going to keep doing that multi-stop Italian cruise on the MSC Grandiosa. But what was supposed to happen this week is that the MSC Magnifico was also supposed to come in service doing cruises to Greece, which all seems well and good. Those ports are open, but the Italian government has recently put in some new restrictions for people that are traveling to Greece, for Italian citizens that are traveling to Greece. When they get back from Greece, they have to go through a rigorous testing, potentially a quarantine. But the Italians that are considering this Magnifica cruise are starting to show by their bookings that they're just not too jazzed about the extra health protocols of the process of going to Greece. And as MSC has tracked along with these booking numbers over the last few weeks, they've just said, well, I guess the demand's just not there. Nobody wants to jump through these hoops to go to Greece. So instead of starting up the Magnifica program late August, early September, let's just push it to the end of September, and then maybe people will want to do it. I get it. It's a business decision, and this means that those cruises will not start until September the 26th. But it really does bring us back down to earth when we think about the restart of cruising. If a lot of things don't happen in a positive way, cruising will not restart. I've been thinking about this a lot lately. So cruise lines, they need money, yet they keep pushing out when they plan to sail again. If you look at North America, CLIA, the Cruise Line International Association, they keep pushing out beyond the CDC no-sail order. Like in the beginning, you would think, well, you would just be ready to cruise as soon as that no-sail order is lifted. But no, CLIA keeps pushing out beyond the no-sail order, and you got to scratch your head and say, well, why? Why are the cruise lines not ready to restart? In North America, there could be some compelling factors. The way that the virus has been politicized here in the United States, maybe cruise lines don't even want to touch it till after the election. I could see that happening. But at the same time, maybe they're waiting it out. Maybe they're waiting the virus out because it's expensive to try to tackle cruising in these circumstances. It's been reported that MSC is spending an additional $600,000 per cruise just to do the rapid testing, just to do the health protocols, to do everything that they're doing to make cruising safe. $600,000 per cruise to do that. I can imagine the executives of the cruise companies going, yeah, I don't really want to do that. Maybe one or two ships, yeah, but if I got to spend that kind of coin on every cruise that's going out just so that we can cruise again, maybe we just sit on the money. We got enough money to not have passengers for another year. Why spend all this extra coin? Because, you know, something could change. These circumstances of 2020 snuck up on us, came in from nowhere, and maybe it'll go away like that too. Why spend all this money on testing and new procedures and training and all that stuff? Maybe if we wait it out a few more months, maybe it'll go away. I could see that. It's frustrating, right? We want cruising to resume. All of us think, well, cruising has to resume so these companies can make money, but maybe that isn't the answer. Maybe it does just come down to good old-fashioned business, and in this story with MSC, you see that being true. The demand is not there. Therefore, we will not cruise. I struggle with the question through this whole pandemic. Does it make more sense just to call it quits for a year or to continue putting out dates and hoping that they can meet them? I kind of live on more of the let's be hopeful side, and something could change rapidly and cruising can resume. But I do know from tracking along with you guys, there are people out there who are just fatigued by this whole situation. I hope that we are closer to cruising than we are further away from it. But who knows? What do you think? Should the cruise lines just wait it out a little longer, or do you think they should invest in all these extra testing and protocols and all that stuff when they may not even need it in 6 months? It's a challenging question. I would love to hear your feedback. Leave a comment below. That's the show for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Show your support by hitting the like button. This is Tony for the Lido Loca Cruise Show, and until the next time, we'll see you on the Lido. Bye.